so much for tuning into this video. My name is Jessica. For today's video, our topic's going to be all about college, a little bit of advice, my experience, and hopefully you find a few things that is helpful to you. But before we get started, again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you find this video helpful and want to see more, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. But without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. So I have lived in Southern California my entire life. I didn't go out of state or out of the region for college. I attended Cal State University Long Beach and I got my bachelor's in communications and marketing, and I was there for 5 years. And this isn't really pertinent to most of the information, but just so you kind of get a little insight, even though I attended a local school, half of my college career I lived at home, and then the other half I lived in my sorority house. So some things may affect some of the insights I give you, most of it will not. But just throwing that out there. And also, this is my experience and advice that I found helpful and didn't find helpful, tips to help you avoid or to watch out for. And this is what works for me. And for the most part, everybody that I surrounded myself with in college, I'm still really good friends with, and we can all agree that overall this is kind of, what we would tell ourselves and what the do's and don'ts of college. So I have a few things that I want to talk about on my phone. None of them are in any particular order or more important than the next. I just didn't know in which order to talk about it. But again, it doesn't matter. So I want to start off with choosing a major. And choosing a major, obviously, it's really important because you can't finish college unless you choose a major. And a lot of people that apply to college or are, about to attend college, they already have chosen a major to start, which is amazing. Good for them if they know 100% that's what they want to do, and all power to them. But one thing that I can't stress enough is, yes, a major is important again, but I feel like there's so much stress put on choosing your major before you start college. And when you start college, everyone, no matter what major you are, if you have chosen one or not, if it's undeclared or not, everyone takes the same classes. You take your prerequisites, they're your general education, and you can literally fill up an entire school year, not semester, an entire school year of what those prerequisites are. So my advice is to, if you don't know your major yet starting off, that is fine. You need to take your general education regardless. So with your general education, you're also given extra credits that you need to graduate anyway for the most part. So if you have an interest of like interior design or physical therapy or whatever it may be, you can throw those classes in the first year of college and use up those credits that you need to anyway, and just kind of play around what you like. Again, not those specific examples, but whatever it may be. For me, when I began school, sorry, my nose is running. For me, I started off college kind of stressing out because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I put interior design as my major going in. And my first semester, I do really like interior design. I do like decorating interior spaces, blah, 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 whatever. But after taking those classes, I didn't want to build a sofa. I didn't want to build a lamp. You know what I mean? Just those extra art classes, it was a waste of time for me, which prolonged me a year. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you're not entirely sure what you want to do with your major, don't BS it and put a random major just because you think you like it. I made that mistake and I could have graduated in 4 years and it ended up being 5. Which 5 or 6 years if you graduate, that's another topic, but it really isn't a big deal how long you take in college. Emphasis on it's okay if you don't know your major right away. you have time. You have about the entire first year to figure out what you want to do. You can involve yourself in clubs, in you know, things that they offer at school, so you can kind of dip your toes in whatever you may have slight interest in to figure it out. So don't stress too much about your major day one, because that's the last thing you want to do, and you need to take your prerequisites anyway. So while you're trying to figure it out, just knock out whatever else you need to take. And then with that point is, if you really can't figure it out on your own, your university or college you have an academic advisor that you can go and talk to that can help sort things out and figure things out. That can really help out as well. So if you can't really figure it out yourself, there is lots of resources at school, and that kind of leads into my next point, which is, regardless if it's your major or not, or they're just your general education classes, do your diligence and research the professors and the classes you're gonna take. If you don't already know, there's Rate My Professor, and that website is literally such an angel, and it's harsh truths. If a teacher's horrible, you're gonna see a lot of people rate their professor horribly. If it's a great professor, you're gonna see a lot of great reviews, and it's very black and white for the most part, that people put their opinions or experiences, blah blah blah, whatever it may be, for the professor. There's going to be classes that are just, the subject may be flat out boring, and they're just prerequisites for your major, or your core classes for your major, or just general education, but they're inevitable. So something you can do to make your life a little bit easier is search the class, search the professor. And professor really makes or breaks the classes, whether the subject is boring or not. Sometimes a really boring subject can be made really fun if you have the right professor. So just do your diligence, search the professor. And a lot of professors I don't mean to downplay professors. I am sure they worked really hard, they went to school, and they're professors. But a lot of professors are really lazy once they're at that point, and it shows through their curriculum in the semester, and that doesn't translate well to student body. And you know, it just doesn't make you happy to go to class. It doesn't motivate you. And being on Rate Professor, those examples are easily searchable, and you can see if that professor is going to work for you, if their teaching style is going to work for you. It's pretty point blank. So Rate My Professor is a really big tool as you schedule your classes every quarter or semester, whatever academic term you're on. And I also have, with the classes, scheduling. So the beauty about college is you make your own schedule. So I've done both, making all my classes in the morning and leaving early, or I've done some semesters I did a later start, early afternoon, and then that kind of feeds into early evening. I wouldn't say I preferred one over the other. There's pros and cons to both, so it really depends on what kind of body you are, if you're an AM body or a PM body. I really like doing all my classes in the morning. I hated waking up, but it's nice having them in the morning because you're done sometimes during noon, which is really nice. But again, I have a hard time waking up, so that's a con. And then the plus side of doing a late start is you have an easier morning, but the con is it feeds later onto your day. So it just really depends on what your preference is. I will say though, it was nice ending early, because since I'm kind of already in that like mindset, I'm in school, I can go to the library after, and it's not as busy during afternoon as evening. So it was nice to not have that distraction. And then if you're in PM classes, it could be PM classes, and then you go to the library during PM, it gets busier, more distractions, a lot of your friends go at night. So it just, if you can handle that, then that's not an issue. But again, it just really depends on yourself. But it's really nice that you can make your own schedule. But knowing the person you are, if you are easily distracted, then don't do PM classes or late afternoon classes. If you're an AM person, or if you need to like kind of get everything into gear and be on a roll, then I suggest AM classes. So that's a huge thing. And let's see. My next point is get a planner. I know that is it seems like a very small tip or advice, but in college, sometimes you do have amazing professors that are really on top of everything, and they care, you know, that you're getting everything done, and they want you to succeed. Most of the time, that doesn't happen. So get a planner. Read your syllabus before every class starts in the beginning of the semester or quarter. Really map everything out. So I would say average, I think I took about 5 to 6 classes a semester, because 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, because at Cal State Long Beach, to be a full-time student, you at least need to take 12 credits of classes. So that's 4 classes. So I always stayed around 5 classes. 6 classes is a lot, so I would say 5 is a good amount. But for each of those 5 classes, I always got a syllabus in the beginning of the school semester, or again, quarter. I'm just gonna keep saying semester because that's the scheduling I was on. So every professor should. I've never encountered a class that didn't give me a syllabus. Once you get your planner in the beginning of the year, get all your syllabi together. Get it all together, and on the calendar portion of the planner, you know, where it's just the overall month, you write down your deadlines for every single class. If you use your phone, that's fine, use your phone. If you use a planner, that's fine too, but make sure you keep everything on one device or on one planner, because again, most of the time your professors aren't going to be on top of your assignments and reminding you, and just seeing everything mapped out really helps organize the entire semester, helps you map everything out, and maybe have a huge project around the same time you have a huge test. You probably have a couple quizzes the same time you have a huge assignment due. Whatever the case may be, mapping it out really in the long run helps you prioritize things and schedule things in throughout the semester. There's times where I didn't have a planner. I would say probably 2 semesters out of the entire, you know, and those were my worst times. You really want to stay organized and on top of your own shit during college, because no one else is going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. But yeah, you just can't stress it all. Write everything down and keep your syllabus. Don't throw it away, whether it's in PDF form or a physical paper. Something that really helped me out, even though I did write everything on one calendar, I kept my syllabus. I wasn't really a notebook person. I was more of a one huge binder, and then I have dividers, one for one class, you know, whether it's 5 or 6 dividers, and in between it was my notebook, but it was just sheets of loose paper. And then I would have a clear pocket with each divider and its syllabus for the class. And I don't throw those away, because syllabuses really map out all your due dates, but it also maps out the grading rubric. So say 25% would be homework, 75% would be tests. And it sucks, sometimes there's classes where there's no homework and like 2 huge tests. Those are the worst. They're the worst. But anyway, you get the point of the whole organization is key. Next thing I want to talk about is, I should have talked about that when I talked about major, but in most cases, GPA does not matter. And I'm not saying don't care about your grades, whatever. In most cases, it really doesn't matter. Unless you are in the STEM field, unless you're gonna be a doctor or something, GPA really doesn't matter. I have been out of college for 2 years, 3 years, 3 years? I forgot. But it's been a couple years. In all my job searches, Nothing. There's a few that did actually ask for my GPA, but as you move on in the interview process, no one takes accountability for that. No one really asks. It really doesn't matter. As I am saying this, yes, care about your grades so you can graduate and have a good academic standing, but don't hurt yourself over if you don't have a specific GPA. You know what I mean? Because in the end, it really doesn't matter. And what your experience is key. If you have to knock your grade down from A to a B because you have to take an extra internship or whatever it is because you don't have the extra time to study, whatever it may be, take the internship. It's just not going to be, your GPA is not going to be as important as your experience. So just throwing that out there, it's not a huge deal. Another thing I want to talk about is school resources. Schools, they take your money and you're broke majority of the time of college, honestly. But even though they're a evil establishment that takes your money and makes you broke, they also have resources. Most of the time they're free. You can rent your books on like Amazon or Chegg, but something to look out for is instead of buying your books, your school library might have it. You probably don't even need to buy it. Just go to your library. A lot of the times the library has the class and professor files, and it'll let them know exactly what books you need or they need in their library after the class, or whenever you need to do homework and you need said textbook, just go to the library. You don't need to buy it. Sorry, I know this is gross, but my nose is running. As I'm doing this, I just want to say I just did this makeup tutorial that will be up on my channel on Monday. It's a long-lasting, I can't think right now. It's a long-lasting foundation routine that doesn't break up and lasts all day, and that's full coverage. But anyway, oh yeah, school resources. So the library is going to have the textbooks you need. If you don't need to purchase a textbook, don't buy it, because college textbooks are expensive. They're like minimum probably like $60, which sucks. So just check your library, and if your library doesn't have it, another thing I really suggest doing is there's a lot of Facebook communities where a lot of the student body create groups. So there's like, if it's not a major specific group, like say if you're communications, I had like a communications group, or whatever your major is. There's also, say if you're a freshman starting at Cal State Long Beach, there's probably a CSULB freshman 2019 Facebook group right now, and you probably don't know. There's also very niche community groups on Facebook. Maybe you're part of a sorority or a club or an organization at school. Join those, because those are people you can network with, not only for the future, but also people that have hand-me-down books or selling their books for dirt cheap, or whatever the case may be. Always watch out for those to help you save a little bit more money. And my last point is to make friends. And I know it sounds a little silly, but it's true. You need to make friends in college and make friends in your classes. Join a sorority or a fraternity if you're into that. Join organizations in school. I say this because making friends and acquaintances in college, making acquaintances is inevitable in college. Whether it's classmates, you have to talk to people, but I mean actually make friends. Making friends in college, they're like-minded people. They're in the same life journey with you at the moment. They're probably not taking the same classes, but it is someone, it's someone that you can share that journey with. And it's somebody you can study with. It's someone you can hang out with, someone you can have lunch with while you're on campus and off campus. And it's just nice to be surrounded with those like-minded people, because majority of the time they're gonna have the same goals as you at the moment. They're trying to do well in school, they're trying to pass their classes, they're trying to accomplish something in their life that is pretty huge, and that's graduating college. Yeah, I just 100% make friends. I joined a sorority and it was so much fun, and I am still really good friends with my sisters, the people that I was in it with. You're into that, I would 100% suggest going through that process and rushing, and in the end maybe join a sorority. And if you didn't like that process, it's not for you. At least you tried it. There's other things than just Greek life. Again, there's the organizations at school, and if you already chose your major, each major has like their club or their organization for that major. So 100% join those, check those out, and it really involves you in that experience of college. And a lot of you may have traveled out of state to go to college, and that's great. And I think more so you should join something so you have a purpose of going to that school, not just for academics. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed my college experience, not only with that side, but I think the things I carried on through college and little tips of my own and to keep in my head when going out through the process really helped make my life a little easier during college. But overall, from all my advice and my do's and don'ts, I would say enjoy it while it lasts, for sure. Though I wouldn't say I want to relive my college years, even though it was fun and I enjoyed it. Just enjoy it while it lasts, because there are so many times when I complained like, I can't wait till I graduate and I'm done with this crap. Now that I'm done with this crap, it's real world now. It is big girl problems, it is big girl bills, it is whatever you want to call it. Those weren't actual issues, but I'm not complaining. I live my life. But anyway, just enjoy it while it lasts. Have fun. If you're in college, make it count. That's it, make it count. Not only are you there for academics, but I think college is a time in people's lives where you really kind of find yourself. You really do push yourself and you push boundaries. Really trust yourself, but enjoy it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you found it pretty informative, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.